Well, hey folks, how y'all doing? Giving you a second just to soak that in. You're saying, Tom, it's been a long time since you did a modification to the Weber Kettle, and you've seen me work on the Green Goddess before. I've done a whole bunch of them, putting the lid hinge on, those wooden handles. A guy named Mark Britt made those. The stuff I did with thermometers, and then a probe port, and now a shelf. So this was, if you watch the whole video, folks, you'll see how I made it. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to put a shelf. A lot of times, you know, Weber wants you to not do this. They want you to sell you the 22-inch, but they want you to want that or something more expensive. And that's just good marketing. So they used to sell other types, and you can see right there, there was a wooden one that they used to make, made out of cedar. They also had this plastic one, fit on the 18-inch. And that worked very well too. Those had two legs that went to the ground actually. That one had one leg that went, in fact I got the bracket on here. Look at that, see the bracket down there? That's for that one. So I decided to build this one. It's 12 inches out, 12 inches wide at the widest point. I used some wood from Home Depot. Everything else is you know, just standard off the shelf. That's just conduit right there. And you'll see what I made everything else out of. You're probably asking, well, how much weight can this handle? And you're right. You don't want to put, I mean, you don't want to set a car battery on here or something like that, but you could put a 15-pound weight right at the end here and holds it just fine. So I wouldn't go more than 15, 20 pounds on this, but what do you really cook that you need more than 15, 20 pounds? I know someone's gonna say, oh, I do like 100 butts on there. You know, you don't do 100 butts on there. And you don't, you know, so it's a Weber 22-inch, folks. So there it is. That's the mod we did. Keep on watching if you want to see more. All right, folks, down in the shop, it's coming along. If you haven't watched it, I've been doing a couple series of videos on power top, bench top power tools and how I built this workbench. Feel free, Tom Horseman on YouTube. So we're gonna start, and you know, this is my Green Goddess that I've drilled the holes in and done all the goofy things to, and that's why I chose this one, because it's the one I do all the modifications to. So the first thing is take off that handle, and then we'll talk a little bit about weight and how that's all gonna happen. All right, folks, at Home Depot, this is where I got that blank from, and you can see it is the, it's that one right there, the 23 3/4 laminated pine board, and that works really, really nice. So let's get to cutting. All right, there's the wood blank that I talked about that we got from Home Depot, and all I did was take the lid off, put it in there, kind of got it positioned where I wanted. I'm looking for about 12 inches out this way, which is going to be just fine, perfect for a tray or whatnot you want to put on there. Put the lid on there, and I'm actually going to trace the lid on there once I'm happy that it's centered up properly. All right, there we go. We've got our hold down clamps on. Folks, I tell you what, you got a workbench. These things work awesome. This isn't going anywhere. Perfect. We're going to use a scroll saw. Make sure you wear safety glasses. If you're not comfortable using power tools, then don't. And you can see our line that we're going to follow. And this leaves 12 inches from here to there. And we're going to have to leave a gap between the grill and the wood, obviously. I'm thinking about 1.5 inches or so. So we'll get to cutting so you can see too. Just follow the line. All right, got her all sanded and everything, and it's kind of how she's going to kind of fit here. So we're going to start varnishing that. I'm going to put no stain or anything. I'm just going to put some spar varnish, a couple coats of spar varnish on it, get it nice and sealed up, and give you a couple more look-sees, and keep on watching. All right, there's our tabletop all nicely shined up. I've got like 3 coats on the underside, like 4 coats on the top, and I'm just using this. I like this stuff. I've used this before, the spar varnish from Minwax, and this is the clear gloss that we're using. Now what we're going to do is to attach it, to the grill. So you can see, obviously we removed the handle, and I wanted to sit up here. I've got some aluminum angle iron. Now this is what I got. Showing you folks everything I got, 1/8 inch by 2 inch by 3 feet. I'm just gonna cut this in half. Now this was like, I think $8 or something like that. Maybe not even. I bought it like 2 weeks ago, so I can't remember. So I'm gonna take and just cut that in half, and then the goal is for this to sit on there, and then that one hole that's in there, I'm gonna go get an exact screw and nut, maybe even a wing nut, so you can make this somewhat. So I'll build this as if you can remove it, because a lot of people have covers, and obviously a cover is not going to fit with this on. So let's get a cutting. All right, there they are, cut in half. Broke all the corners. You can see I rounded all the corners. This is the underside. I'm thinking, well, first of all, it goes somewhat like this. I'm gonna have to figure out how much of this I want to take off, although I don't want to take any off. I want to give enough room here. I don't want this right up against the grill, because obviously it's wood and might burn. So we want to give it a good, I don't know, I haven't figured out yet, at least an inch gap, air gap there. And then I'm thinking of cutting another piece of wood to fill in this gap here, having those screwed together, and then our one hole that'll go through, and then a wing nut, or if you're going to leave it on there permanently, you could put on just a regular nut and lock washer. So that's what we're going to do next. All right, so we did some layout with our aluminum here, and we did cut a little bit of an angle here, and you can see we've got right around a little more than 1.25 inches, about 1.5 inch gap, and I think that'll be significant. That'll be enough air gap so it won't burn. If it does, well, lesson learned. So let's keep on going. All right, like I said, I wanted to extend this out a little bit, and I'm just going to use a 2x4, rip that down to 2 inches, and we'll give you a look-see once that's done. All right, there it is with a 2x4 in there. The reason for the 2x4 is to kick this one out a little bit further this way, so you get a little bit of additional more support. Like I said, this thing is never going to hold. I mean, you're not going to set a car battery on it, but 15 pounds, 20 pounds, it'll hold that, no problem. So we're going to go get some screws. Obviously, the one main screw is going to go through the center, and that's what's going to attach it to the grill. And then I'm going to get 2 for this side, and then 2 for this side. Probably go with some stainless steel. Just so that it doesn't rust or corrode. All right, just drilling a bunch of holes. I've got this little, I picked up this little Wen bench top. It's just a small one, 8 inch. Did a review of it on Horseman YouTube. The thing works pretty nice. I mean, it's small, but it was, Christ, $80 brand new, so you can't go wrong with that. But anyway, we're just drilling a bunch of holes. You see, we've got our bottom one in now. The wing nut idea, probably not going to work. There just won't be enough room for a wing nut. I do have a locking nut on there, nylon locking nut, and you can see how I'm going to drill and put some more in there. And then to attach it to the top, I'm going to use some stainless steel, and I know it's really not meant for wood. They're sheet metal screws, but they'll give a really good grip in this wood. And I'll pre-drill and put those in there, and it'll hold tight. So getting close here, folks. Drill some more holes, and next time you see it, guess what? She'll be installed. Stay tuned for that. All right, I know I said I'd show you when it's done, but I wanted to show you the whole thing put together before it goes on the back, because once it's installed, you're not going to see it. So that's kind of what it looks like when it's done. You can do this any way you want to. Someone's going to ask why the aluminum channel. Why did I decide to go with that? It was because I needed that inside to be perfectly flush. If you go with like a metal angle iron, that's round in there. So having this aluminum like this really works well. And like I said, this is lightweight, and it's going to hold nice. So when you drill your hole, and this is the only hole that attaches it to the grill, you got to be very careful. You get it just perfect because you want the weight coming down on that handle. So it goes right in between here. And like I said, we'll get it attached to the back of the board to put it on. And now the next time you'll see it is when it's on the grill. All right, folks, there it is with the table on. One of the things I kept asking myself during this whole thing is how stable is this going to be? And, you know, you're just relying on that handle. And that was, I had wishful thinking that it would support it just fine. And it does support it, except I'm not comfortable with it. It wiggles a little bit. So what I'm going to do, and you can see I started already, piece of electrical conduit. And we're just drilling a hole and putting a slot so it goes right into the bottom axle, and then it'll come up, and then we'll cut a half notch out of it there, and 2 screws into the wood. And that's a great thing about putting that wood in there. And we're going to put 2 of them. We're going to put 1 on each side, and that'll give us kind of a triangle then of support. We've got the handle in the middle and the 2 on the side, and that should increase the stability quite a bit. You're making these things up, folks. This is what happens. I'm not an engineer. All right, so I'm using 3/4 inch electrical conduit, and we start by drilling a 1/2 inch hole. Then I'm just going to take my Sawzall, connect the dots, grind it real nice, break all the edges, and that's what slips over the axle. Okay. All right, showed you how I did the slot on the bottom, and then on the top I just transferred the angle. I got to grind some off there, boy. The camera doesn't look so good, does it? But then I'm going to cut out a section here that I traced. That'll come out, and then that'll slide up in there, and then we'll drill 2 holes, shoot 2 screws into that wood. It's a good thing we put that in there. If you're wondering what I'm using, I'm just using this cheap cordless Black & Decker. I got a plug-in Milwaukee one, but I tell you what, this thing is really light, and I know it won't last forever, but these batteries aren't bad. So, folks, if you ever get your chance to get this on bargain, and the blades change real simple too. So there's my Black & Decker, right? Whatever. All right, well, there she is, all finished. I'm going to do a little bit of grinding, clean things up. I polish up those legs a little bit with a nylon brush on a drill. And I tell you what, folks, adapt and overcome. This resolved the issue with it being just a little bit weak. And now we can put our weight on there. I mean, we're not going to put a car battery on there, like I said before, but this definitely works, and I'm thrilled with it. Easy to do. I mean, some power tools. Obviously, I cheat a little bit. I've got table saw and some other stuff, but you can easily do this with, like I said, all you need is really a Sawzall and a drill and a scroll saw. And like I said, we bought that blank. I showed you that. That was from Home Depot. That's just conduit. And then the angle iron too, that's not even angle iron, so it's just aluminum channel iron, angled. And that was all at Home Depot. So super simple to do, folks. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for playing along. Thumbs up, leave a comment. I'm sure you will. You always do. I appreciate it. And as always, I can't say it enough. Appreciate you watching. Thank you.